Hi, welcome to Tech Talks by Reseller Club. This is Justin, and today I'm going to talk about what are the various hosting options that you should consider as a user. It's a question that I get a lot from my small and medium businesses, from professional bloggers who always want to know what is the best hosting option for you. There are various hosting options like Shared, VPS, Dedi. If you don't know about them, do not worry. We will cover them as we move along this video. I'll talk about them and also flush out some of the reasons why you should choose between them. I'm also going to talk about how hosting products change and why the requirements keep changing and evolving through the journey of my dear friend Jack, who started a small business and then moved to establishing a big company with many employees. We're going to talk about how his hosting requirements changed and what was the reason behind why he wanted to use different products that are available right now in the market. My friend Jack wanted to get online, and the easiest way to do that was through a shared hosting package. Let's understand how shared hosting works. Shared hosting is or can be compared to a college hostel. A college hostel is shared among many users. Water and other resources can be shared among a lot of other people. Every now and then, somebody could use more water, whereby somebody else will not get some amount of water that they require for the day. In a shared environment, CPU, bandwidth, and RAM are shared among all the users on that shared server. Now, every now and then, if one of the websites is going to get a lot of visitors, other users who have business critical websites will have a performance dip because somebody else on that server is going to be using all the resources that are available for that server. For business critical applications, you would not want to host on shared hosting, because if somebody else is going to abuse the system, you're going to have critical downtime. It could impact your profitability, potentially also lose some customers along the way. My friend Jack used a simple but effective WordPress site in order to get online. It was relatively faster because it didn't require him to understand hosting and all the technical aspects, and it also didn't mean that he needed to employ somebody to maintain that website. A few months have passed and Jack started realizing that hosting his website on a shared environment had its own downsides. This is when he started seeing things like shared servers not being available or not useful for business critical applications. He was also trying to make sure that some of his custom settings that he needed for firewall, etc., were not really conducive for a shared environment. Jack started to worry about this, and a little research brought him over to VPS hosting. Virtual private servers, aka VPS, is, as an example, you can consider a small apartment. Within the four walls of the apartment, you can do anything. You can get a TV, you can get in some plants, you can even have a pet. However, you are allowed to do this only within the four walls of that apartment. In virtual private servers, a powerful server is split into virtualized machines, and you will need to actually use those resources allocated to each virtualized instance. For example, CPU, RAM, hard drive, bandwidth, all have its own limitations in terms of the virtual server that you're assigned to, and there is nothing that will stop you from using that virtual private server for installing applications, custom firewalls, anything that you would like from using it as customized as you want. Jack realized that using a VPS is so much beneficial than shared hosting because he was able to use his custom firewall rules that he wanted to use while he was on shared hosting. Jack realized that VPS hosting is the best option for him right now because he was spreading out his business. He was going to see increased traffic in the couple of months that he was going to spend some money marketing new technologies. He had an increased need in terms of email accounts because the number of people in his company had started to increase. He was also working on a mode where he needed to work with private secure data, and the VPS allowed him to do so because of the benefits that it contains. Jack started using the VPS and was more than happy. The VPS allowed him because it had higher bandwidth. It gave him the flexibility to move, upgrade or downgrade as per his requirements. It also was very flexible in terms of custom code because it allowed him to write a backup cron, which allowed him for disaster recovery and put everything from his custom VPS to a AWS account that he had. He was also able to use firewall settings to his benefits because he had started to work towards a CRM which needed admin access, and he was able to use the custom firewall to prevent access from a security standpoint. Jack was happy using the VPS, and while it continued to give him 5x growth, some of his applications started to outgrow the virtualized setup. He was not able to control what the application needed, and hence he started to look out for options. He was thinking about using many other options available in terms of bandwidth, the plan available, the size available. However, when he couldn't find a solution, he took this request back to the support team, and the support team requested him to move to a dedicated plan because that was the logical option available from a package upgrade perspective. Dedicated server is like buying a piece of land. You will have its own plot, you will have own gas supply, electricity, or even a pool. In a house which belongs to you, nobody can stake a claim at the resources that you have. Nobody can come into the pool and say, I want to use it for the day. Likewise, in a dedicated server, you will have all the resources like CPU, bandwidth, RAM, etc., which is actually part of your own setup. Nobody can use that, or nobody has the right to use a website which will use those resources. Like buying a house, a dedicated server has upfront costs which you will have to bear. Jack understood that dedicated server is the best option for him right now, and hence he moved all his applications that required a dedicated setup. Within the first month itself, he migrated all of them. While Jack realized that a dedicated setup is the best suited for his applications as of right now, it needed him to have clear visibility in terms of how his business is going to perform in the short and medium term. If you go wrong, you could either end up with an infrastructure that's too large, or if you are going to predict it incorrectly, you will have an infrastructure that's too small for the business applications that you are hosting it on. Jack quickly understood with the team of experts that he had, this is the best choice as of right now, and he migrated all his applications onto this setup. Now that you've seen Jack's story and how it impacted his decision-making ability in terms of the right hosting that he needed to choose, here are a few quick points to consider. Here on the screen, you can see the pros and cons for each product. Let me take you through it as a summary. Shared hosting is preferred due to the low cost associated with it, and the time taken to go online is relatively very fast. It's very easy to maintain and has the ability to install all sorts of software with one-click installer. It does have its own scalability issues, and dependability is a concern. VPS is very cost-effective. You can increase resource capabilities as your needs grow. It provides instant scalability, instant upgrades, and often no reboots are required. It allows software customizations with admin access and provides quick migration facility. Disk I/O and host network connections can be bottlenecks that sometimes cause downtime. Dedicated servers give powerful control over all aspects of your hosting environment. It's completely isolated, providing better security and gives software and hardware customizations. It's quite expensive and inflexible because of upfront costs and static resources. I hope you like this video. For more such videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.